Today I'm going to show you some easy money on this fairly common item that I run into constantly. Hey, it's Don. Today we're going to show you another item that I find very regularly. Something that makes us a pretty darn good chunk of change for something I can get for almost nothing all the time. Now today we're going to talk about kitty records. That's the topic today. This is something that most people don't mess with. Something that most people just pass by because they don't see much of a value in them. Even if they're Disney and stuff, I can find these sometimes at the last day of a sale. People will look them up and they won't realize that you can get 10, 20, 25 bucks for many of these if you list them properly, if you pay attention to where you list them. Now this is a Disneyland original. 29 cents are one of the first pricings you will find on some of these discs here. There's 78 versions like this one right here, as well as 45 versions of the very same record. Sometimes too you will find the exact same picture sleeve, but the only difference will be instead of 78 up here, it will say 45. Many times the price will be the same, so a 45 or a 78 could also be 29 cents. I have never paid more than $1. If they're more than $1, I pass them by every single time. There's a few maybe that may be worth buying otherwise, but most of what I see are the more common ones. At $1 or less, you can do fairly well with these. Most of these I will list for $17.50, $18.50 range. Now some of the rarer ones can go for hundreds of dollars. Some of the picture sleeves can go for 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks on their own. So there's many reasons why you should be nabbing these up. Many times people will pass these by. They'll buy all the rock records, the soul, rhythm and blues, jazz, early rockabilly, country, bluegrass, but they'll leave the kitty records. They don't want to mess with them. They don't want to see them in their store. A lot of people just walk right by these. There's a ton of value in these. Here's a 49-cent one. It's a later one. You can tell by looking at the type of record in the whole works. This is a little later. Some of these as well are EPs. Another thing to look at too, DBR is the official numbering system on most of these. Can do extremely well with most any of these that we run into. As I said, $9.99 or higher for every single one of these we've ever dealt with. Now most of the ones I run into I've had dozens of copies of. Some of them I've very rarely run into, but I've still found 2 and 3 of those over the time. I've had 30, 40, 50 of some of these over the last 20 years. Sometimes I've found 2 of the same copies at the same time. Sometimes I've been sourcing and I've been able to find 4 or 5 of the very same one from different collections. A lot of people just don't mess with these. The art alone is a good reason to buy them. The Disney ones do extremely well. I would list these in collectibles, the Disney section, under their record specific sections in there. They're easy to photograph. 4 photos. I've got a stand. I can take 4 photos of this in like a minute. Flip it over, slide it out, boom, slide it over to the side. It's really easy to do. Super easy to list. A minute, minute and a half to list pretty much any record. Maybe a little more time with eBay's insane item specifics, but you don't have to list these on eBay. You can list these on eBay, Amazon, Discogs, and there's a few other places you can list these sorts of things as well. Now, some of these were promos. You'd have to send away like this one here. This is an item you'd send away from the Mickey Mouse Club. This is a specific one, only available from them. Color-wise, it's colored vinyl. It's an EP, nice condition, photo back. Usually if it has photo backs like this, I do fairly well on all that sort of thing. Other ones like this one here. This is Gene Autry singing in this one. Doesn't look like much. It is also a kitty record. It is a Columbia though. Columbia made them, RCA made them. There's Children's Bluebird and things like that as well. These all do extremely well for us. 10 bucks or higher on any of these. This one has the picture sleeve. On Amazon, 15, 20 bucks. eBay, 10, 15, somewhere in that range. Some may take a little while longer to get the higher price on them, but that is what we've sold them for. Now, Little Golden Records made a ton of them as well. They're not all golden, even though that's what most people would assume on things like that. This one's another 29 cent, 45 as it states on the front as well. I run into these at church sales. That's probably the #1 place, the best sourcing for these other than, say, a garage sale. At a church sale, let's say a church who has a like a daycare or something like that. When they clean up and they buy new merchandise or they're cleaning out the back room, many times I can find hundreds of kid-style records with these mixed in there as well. So that's always a good source for them. A school sale or a school rummage sale, I run into them as well. So those are two of the probably the best places to find these. I've seen them at garage sales. I've seen them at flea markets and all over the place. All of these do extremely well. So $10 or higher a piece for all of these that I'm showing you. No question about it. I have sold some of these in the past for a couple $100. There's a few, as I said, that are worth that kind of money. So if you go digging around, you'll find some of these that do carry some good value. Again, people don't mess with these. Winnie the Pooh ones do extremely well, especially these oddball ones like this one with the picture sleeve and the whole works. It's a little newer one than some of the other ones I've showed you, but these do extremely well for us across the board. Excellent, excellent items to find. Kitty records in general do very well. You can't go wrong with these for the price. Bing Crosby. Now, any of the ones with performers like this singing, like the Gene Autry one, I always nab up to. Usually these are mixed in with kids records, as you can see, but I sell them to people who are adult buyers of Bing Crosby, Gene Autry, and the works on these. I never worry about these. As I said, $10 a pop. That's the bottom end I get for any of these. Usually it's more than that. Again, it depends on the condition, of course. Earlier ones like this cardboard sleeve here for this RCA Victor EP from Disney's Peter Pan do extremely well. The earlier they are, not necessarily the most valuable, but some of the actual cardboard sleeves are pretty tough to get. Some of the ones with like the indent to pull out are fairly scarce like this one here, so I can get a little higher premium on something like that. Now other ones with famous performers like this one with Frank Sinatra in it, Little Golden Records, will sell again just because it's Frank Sinatra. A Frank Sinatra collector will buy this because it's a Sinatra record that they wouldn't have any other way. It's a semi-advertising piece as well, too, so it's really interesting across the board. TV shows. Any TV show that's decent, that has a following, I will nab up. Now, another interesting aspect of pretty much all these I'm showing you is that they have cross-category interest. You can sell them in multiple categories. TV show collectors, record collectors, picture sleeve collectors, collie collectors, lassie collectors. I mean, there's just so many other different reasons why stuff like this will sell. The actor, the boy who played Lassie's owner, people might collect his stuff. I mean, there's just so many different reasons why these do extremely well. Now, another area in this genre of kitty records that I run into as well are Christmas and holiday. Mostly the Christmas or Halloween, the very few Halloween ones that are out there. Some of these are heavyweight records. This is a Peter Pan. This is a non-flexible early edition of them. If you drop this one, I don't know what would happen, but most of these out of season, you can again get $10 or higher for them. In season, I've sold some of these for $24, $27.50 right off the bat, right in season. Say in October is a good time to make sure you have these up. So all of these are again $10 or higher, usually $15 in season. Santa's Laughing Song and things like that. They all do extremely well. These are records that you could run into in mixed lots. You can tell the type of music it is by the color of the label itself. Also, another earlier Columbia one in that one there. Another Peter Pan, Christmas, any of these. White Christmas is extremely popular. Even if the people don't play these, even if you don't have a record player, people will buy them just for the artwork to display on the wall. Another Christmas-oriented item indeed. Now, one more area that I buy a lot of stuff in tied to this are records like this. Now, this is Hugh O'Brien, and he was from TV's Wyatt Earp, the TV series. He sung. Now, most people that starred in TV series going back from the 80s tried to get a record deal going back in those days. The Brady Bunch, for an example. The Riddler. Gershwin, who played the Riddler, actually sung a song called The Riddler. Burgess Meredith sung a song. Adam West, Burt Ward, they all sung. Every one of those people sung, and they were performers on their own right. So any of those types of things do extremely well. Anything tied to very popular TV series like this Ben Casey here. Now, there's no photographs on this, but it's Dr. Kildare, it's Ben Casey, highly collected. Now, mixed in with this $5 haul purchase right here was this record as well. Now, I don't know, maybe somebody was looking through it or the owners weren't paying enough attention. Now, this is Julie London, Calendar Girl, and there is actually a LP of this. It's a gatefold. It's got tons more of these images with an insert, and as well, the inner sleeve has artwork like this on it also. It's a very nice record. This is an EP. It's part 2, doesn't show up as much as part 1. These are highly collectible. Not a fortune, but in the right marketplace, say on Amazon, $24 fairly easily. It's in the original cardboard sleeve, so you never know what you're going to find. Why did I find that? I assumed that no one wanted to mess with the kids' records. They figured they'd only get a couple bucks and it wouldn't be worth their while. I don't mind letting them set a little while. I do list a lot of these items on different platforms also. The majority of our items are not just on one site. They're multi-listed across different avenues of selling. Stuff that will sync up so I don't have to worry about inventory levels or anything like that. These are items, as I said, that most people don't mess with. It's things that I do make a decent amount of money on. If I'm outsourcing, I can find these pretty much almost every day I am out there if I'm heavily sourcing. I find them at thrift stores, as I said, flea markets, garage sales most definitely. Found them on the next street over from where I live right now at some little tiny small garage sale. These are leftover usually, especially if they're mixed in with some of the more junker kiddie labels. There's some kid labels that aren't worth very much money that go with like the sound strips and things like that. So many times nobody looks through those. So this is another one of those areas. It doesn't always have to be the rock records, the jazz, the blues, soul, and things like that. The kiddie records are another area that I always nab up. Well, there you have it. Hopefully that gave you some ideas, some thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all your friends.
Here's Leggy with today's high fashion look.
We love you, Leggy.
Leggy Jill, Leggy Nan,
Leggy.
Leggy Kate, and Leggy Sue.
We love you true.
Leggy means high fashion with a kick.
Leggy.
Leggy means a dynamite look.
We love you, Leggy.
There's a kick in today's high fashion look with
Leggy Jill, Leggy Sue, Leggy Kate, and Nan too. We love you.
Leggy, 4 different dolls, each with her own costume, each sold separately.